How does this metal get mined, or how do you source this kind of material? What's the process?
So there is no osmium mines out there, probably to put that in the first place. Osmium is always mined as a byproduct. And it's
Of platinum.
There we go. See, I told you guys.
I'm educated.
He can do the pitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how many companies are there that deal into osmium in the world today?
So there are various companies who are using it as tangible as investment or as a jewelry material, but there are only 2 companies through which every piece of osmium goes. So osmium comes, as I said, from platinum mines, and it's crystallized in Switzerland.
What is the vision that you have for Osmium?
To grow to the biggest osmium jewelry platform there is.
Okay.
Actually, this vision I have, I guess, already achieved because it was the very first one, which is great.
How do you ensure that kind of continuity in the business that you do with Osmium?
I mean, it's all about setting your mindset to something and not really letting go. So when I focus it on acting, it is even in between breaks, you would try to stay in character.
Do you create the product and then find a buyer? Or you also customize it as per the buyer's need?
The second one is definitely the more popular one. So it's so rare, it will never be a mass product.
So guys, life is a very interesting journey, and when it is very interesting, you meet people which are very inspiring. One such inspiring guest that I have today is Scarlett Clauss from Germany, all the way from Germany. Scarlett.
Namaste, India. Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. So she is a very young entrepreneur all the way from Europe, from Germany in Europe. And she's been here for quite some time. And this is her first trip to India. And she has already accepted the fact that India is a world in a country. So it's a very interesting journey that she's lived. And we will be diving into that deep. But Scarlett, how's the feel being in India? Just to begin the conversation.
Well, absolutely incredible. First of all, I come from 1/2 meter of snow back in Germany. So coming to the sun, the vitamin D, just like enjoying some sunny weather is already perfect. Food has been incredible. Hospitality is through the roof. As a German, we're not huge on hospitality, so I very much enjoy that. I've had a wonderful time so far, and business seems to be great here. So I for sure will be coming back more often in future.
That's music to our ears. Every Indian loves to hear this when people want to keep visiting India. That's opportunities both sides. She's in a very unique business. I've always heard about rare earth metals. Today's conversation is going to be focusing on something which is very unique, which I didn't know till a couple of hours back, and you will know just after a few minutes. That's the conversation going to be, and I will request Scarlett to speak about rare earth metals and then what she does and what she here for.
Perfect. There's nothing I love speaking more about. Well, to sum it up, so there's 8 precious metals. Most people know gold, silver, palladium, platinum. There's also rhodium, iridium, ruthenium, and osmium. And osmium is the one that we will be focusing on today. So if you have never heard of it, well, you have now that we have talked, but probably most of the audience won't. That's totally fine. It was already discovered over 200 years ago, but it was kind of neglected because there was no real industrial applications for it. And
fantastic. In fact, she has told me so much about it. Like she says, she loves to speak about it. I can give a presentation of osmium to her now. After the show, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Actually, it feels like you can already do the pitch. So,
so what is osmium all about, and why osmium? Why the name osmium?
So osmium was discovered in 1804, and Smith and Tennant, who discovered it, gave it the name osmium. The name osmium actually doesn't have the most beautiful origin because it's a Greek word for smell, or actually even more reek, osme, because the raw material smells quite bad. It's also hazardous to health. So that's why no application emerged. But we wouldn't be here if we were talking about a smelly, toxic material, would we? So something has changed 10 years ago because now we can crystallize osmium, and that's what we will be focusing on today.
Why is it called the rare earth material? Or metal?
In metal, yes. So in general, there are like the elements on the periodic table, and they are separated into like semi-precious metals, precious metals. We have rare earth materials. So osmium falls within the category of the precious metals, and they're within the platinum group. And it is rare in the sense that it is the rarest non-radioactive element on Earth.
Okay. And how do you compare that with gold? Because Indians, and of course everybody in the world today, understand only gold. So when you compare osmium with gold, for a comparison so that we understand it better, how would you compare it with gold?
So
In terms of weight, in terms of price, in terms of look, in terms of colors, in terms of feel, all of it.
in terms of everything, got
Absolutely.
it. So basically, imagine gold and the rarity of gold. Osmium is considered to be at least 1,500 times rarer than gold.
Wow.
So we're really talking rarity through the roof. All the gold in the world that has already been mined, if you would fit it in a cube, would be a cube with an edge length more than 20 meters. All the osmium in the world that we can mine and like crystallize would fit under your table. So just to give you an idea of the rarity. Talking about prices, which is probably also a very interesting point for most people. Osmium is right now about 17 times the price of gold.
Wow.
So we have seen over the last couple of weeks and months an incredible rise in prices for gold, for silver, for a lot of tangible assets people are acquiring. And so osmium used to be a little bit more, but now we are at 17 times the price of gold.
Wow. And gold is already 17 times what it was 30 years back. And now you're saying that it is 17 times the price of gold today.
Exactly.
So this is a small piece that I saw first. And for the guest, this is not a coaster. I guess I can buy a couple of Rolls Royces with this piece. So this is osmium. It's pretty heavy and it looks very shiny. And it has got some shining qualities that you wanted to explain yesterday.
Yes.
So under the sun, something happens to this?
Under the sun, something very beautiful happens to it. Exactly. So we all know the shine of diamonds and stones, right?
Yes.
Diamonds refract the light, so they break it, which gives it a very beautiful color spectrum, but not 100% bounces back in your eyes. With osmium, you have 100% reflection. So if you hold this into the sunlight, you will see it up to 30, even 35 meters. A typical stone you see up to 6 meters. So if you want to grab attention when you walk into a room, make sure you wear osmium.
Fantastic,
yes.
Fantastic. That's a good statement. But very unique thing that you told me yesterday is nobody can differentiate between two diamonds or two pieces of gold or two pieces of silver. But with osmium, what you told me is every osmium has a unique fingerprint, like a fingerprint, like the fingerprints that we talk about. No two human beings have the same fingerprint. Similarly, no two osmiums have the same
crystallization structure. Yes.
Crystallization structure.
Exactly.
So this is what she has converted into. Her company has converted this into. So this is a piece of jewelry. And in between, because it is so expensive, very less quantity of osmium gets into this jewelry so that it can become to a certain extent possible to buy as a piece of jewelry. That's what the idea is behind this, right?
Exactly. So most people who go into osmium jewelry do it for various reasons, but one of the main reasons is not everyone will be able to have a piece of this material. It's super rare and super limited. So the idea really is I have something that not everyone out there will be wearing on my finger, on a necklace, whatever it is. And the beauty of it and the rarity of it for sure add to the myth surrounding osmium, because it's now really becoming this almost mythological, like next level thing that you can wear if you want to provide status or showcase something.
So I want to understand one aspect. Gold and silver is in demand because too many people want it. And when the demand is higher than the supply, automatically the prices go high and people store it as wealth, so that they can trade it off when they want to. And there are a lot of people who must have bought gold at 1/5 the price of the prices today. And today they sell it off to buy additional activities that they want to do in life. It can be a house, it can be a car, because gold has gotten so expensive. What happens to osmium kind of a material where people are not used to it, and because they don't know it, how do we gauge the demand? And if we can't gauge the demand, how would we consider it to be an investment which can be leveraged in the future?
So there's two markets surrounding osmium. We already covered a little bit of the jewelry, although of course there's much more to say. But the older market definitely is tangible asset investment. So I'm from Germany. I think I told you this yesterday. I'll tell the audience again. We're not huge into expensive jewelry and luxury. We do expensive cars, but that's kind of the luxury that we will treat ourselves with. We are huge into tangible asset investment, meaning similar to India, actually, it's very in the culture to purchase gold, silver, bullion, these kind of things. And there, osmium is resonating quite strongly with people. So the crystallization is possible for about a decade. And the first 3 to 5 years, it was purely used for this investment purposes. And the idea of osmium in the market is a little bit different than we know it from gold or silver. So it's not, I purchase it today, I resell it tomorrow. It really is for people with a long-term tangible asset investment horizon. We are talking of a material that is most likely going to be less than 500 kJs ever. We're not talking an annual
500,
production.
that's 500 kilograms.
Yes.
Ever.
So less than half a metric ton.
And who certifies that? That it's only 500
So
kilograms?
this comes from the Osmium World Council, Osmium Institutes, and the sources we're speaking about. But just to cover the subjects from before. So the idea of the tangible asset investors is purchasing a piece now, like one of those pieces, for example, the one that you held is valued at 220,000 euros, price today. So acquiring it today,
This one.
keeping it, exactly. So please don't drop it. This would mean...
How much does this cost, you said?
220,000 euros.
Wow.
I have no idea what that's in rupee, unfortunately. A very high number. A lot of lakhs. So the idea is purchasing it today, storing it in my safe, waiting until those less than 500 kilograms are introduced to the market, and then being the source for the future. So this is the idea that the market follows.
So doesn't it sound like the Bitcoin story, that there are only so many numbers of Bitcoins because of which the prices have really gone
through the roof? Yes, it's actually a very good comparison. So our American partners also call it the real life tangible Bitcoin for various reasons. Every piece is unique. We can identify it. It's becoming less and less. It's going to run out. People are losing their keys to their private wallets. Some people may lose a piece of osmium. So there's a lot of comparisons that you can put out. We have seen a lot of people who went into crypto also early, also go into osmium early because they have an entrepreneurial mindset. They like being before the mass. Of course, most of them have made quite a bit of money. But the idea is, okay, this is a Bitcoin, but I can touch it and I can store it and I can take it with me if I leave the country.
You can also use it because of its unique feature. You can also use it as a blockchain kind of an activity, a physical blockchain kind of an activity.
Actually, yes. So the crystalline structure that we covered earlier is more unique than a human fingerprint. We always say probably even 10,000 times more precise than a human fingerprint, depending on how deep into the crystal structure you'll look. And it means that osmium can also certify the jewelry piece, the item that we set it into. So it's basically encrypting something else. Absolutely correct.
Fantastic. How does this metal get mined? Or how do you source this kind of material? What's the process?
So there is no osmium mines out there, probably to put that in the first place. Osmium is always mined as a byproduct. And it's
of platinum.
There we go. See, I told you guys.
I'm educated. I'm educated. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a byproduct of platinum mining. 10,000 tons of platinum ore will equal roughly 30 grams of osmium.
So that's a sugar cube.
That's a sugar cube. Yeah, imagine, I'm from Germany, so I love using examples with cars. So imagine you have a highway, it's 3 lanes. All 3 lanes are full with trucks, and all the trucks are full with platinum all the way to the horizon. You'll find a sugar cube of osmium in there, just to give you an idea of the rarity. And the main platinum mining is happening, about 80% is coming from South Africa. There's also a little bit in Canada and the Ural areas, but 80% South Africa.
Fantastic. So how did this discovery happen? Was it accidental?
Not really. So it was already expected that there would be other precious metals for reasons that I chemically and physically cannot explain. But smart minds in the past knew exactly which gaps were still to fill in the periodic table. So it was clear that there are some materials still left to be discovered. And Smith and Tennant tried to separate different platinum group metals, and he actually discovered iridium and osmium at the same time. Iridium, because of its beautiful color spectrum, he gave it the iris, the irid, the colorful rainbow name, and osmium, not as pretty in that state, got the name reek because it was very, very smelly. But I can promise you, in crystalline form, it outshines iridium anytime.
Wow. So how many companies are there that deal into osmium in the world today?
So there are various companies who are using it as tangible as investment or as a jewelry material, but there are only 2 companies through which every piece of osmium goes. So osmium comes, as I said, from platinum mines, and it's crystallized in Switzerland. So if you will, it's a product made in Switzerland, which internationally usually also sounds pretty good. So crystallization happens there only in 1 company. And then every single piece, doesn't matter how big or how small, even the smallest ones, they pass through the German Osmium Institute, which is the company that I'm mainly working with. We are in Munich, Bavaria, And there, every single piece gets certified. And from there, the pieces go internationally around the globe.
So, like Osmium Institute, are there any other companies trying to do the same thing with the metal?
No, and there will never be. So this is a global monopoly that is held by Swiss and German companies.
Oh, so this is only happening with these companies.
Exactly.
So she is the vice director for the company, Osmium Institute, and
Correct.
she is smart enough to even launch her own venture, and that's called Oscillary. And that's the first piece of jewelry that was ever made, and that's the first product of her company. Can you tell us the correlation between Osmium and Oscillary?
Yes, of course. Nothing I would love to do more, actually. I love talking about this. So I started with Osmium over 8 years ago. I stumbled across it in its early baby shoes. And the idea always was tangible asset investment, reselling to the jewelry and luxury industry later on. But there was not really any luxury or jewelry items already on display. One of the very few examples was the Hublot watch. So Hublot, or here mostly pronounced Hublot, was the first one who produced a watch with osmium already in 2014 and 15, two limited editions.
Who supplied them the osmium then?
That was still us, but it was like the Osmium Institute, the way we know it today, was founded today. But back then it was already still us with the crystallization company. And they were the first ones to use it. But there was no any other use cases showing jewelry or luxury items with it. So I joined the company in 2017, and then I thought in 2020, okay, we need to show people that the money that they're investing can be transformed into something beautiful. We cannot just tell it to them, we need to show it. So that's when I founded Oscillary, Osmium Jewelry, short for Osmium Jewelry is the name. And Oscillary was originally, the intention was to create a high-end luxury jewelry brand with osmium pieces. But then we realized for multiple reasons that it's better to have like a consultation company. So the first couple of pieces were created there. It was meant as an initial spark to the market, if you will. And after that has happened, we've had more and more producers and designers flocking in. And nowadays, Oscillary is more a company of training. I go to goldsmithing schools, I teach there, I go to exhibitions, I do presentations. So Oscillary is more that company of every creative mind that wants to work with osmium. We'll chat with them and we'll make sure that their products shine.
So how do you integrate creativity with the product that you have, with the metal, the precious and the rare earth metal that you have? How do you integrate creativity with this metal? And how many countries are you currently operational, or how many creative minds work on the jewelry that's getting made with this metal?
So we are already in over 30 countries where osmium jewelry has been produced. India was quite late now because this is our first approach to the Indian market. We thought the focus here is so gold and diamond heavy that we weren't sure how it would be perceived. But we got actually convinced by a lot of people to come here. We were at the jewelry show just a couple of days ago giving a presentation there. And so far it's been perceived super, super well. The creativity is basically without limits. So the cool thing is when you talk to designers, people who have creative minds, they love because they say it's finally an innovation. It's finally something new out there. And so you can cut it into any shape you want and then set it. So this is a beautiful example that you're holding there from Switzerland. This is a very high-end producer, and he has used gold, onyx, and osmium inside of this jewelry piece.
So this is a pendant?
This is a pendant.
So the designer who has made it is from where?
From Switzerland.
From Switzerland.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it may look to a lot of people who see it for the first time, they think it's a diamond carpet, it's a pavé, that it's a lot of single stones. But it actually isn't. This is one solid piece of osmium that you're seeing there.
And what is the other metal?
That's onyx.
That is onyx.
Yes.
So it is absolute great creativity. And is this handmade?
This is handmade, yes.
Wow.
So most of the jewels you will see with osmium are handmade just due to the price point, and that's what the customers then expect.
So do you also make it more rare by saying that this is only one piece or 10 pieces or 100 pieces, something on those lines?
Yes, that's basically how the entire osmium market works. So of course, most of the designs will be created multiple times, especially if they're very well received by the market. But this exact piece can never be copied. So if you now took a high resolution photo of this surface and compared it with a scan in the internet, even you yourself or the audience would be able to authenticate their pieces, which makes it so interesting because nowadays we have AI, we have 3D printing, no one knows what's real, what's not real. With osmium, you can always know that it's the actual real piece because you can do a visual comparison. And this pendant will never exist a second time. Even if someone copies it, the design, easy to tell them apart.
Wow. So that's a lot about osmium and the metal. Now let's dive into entrepreneurship, business, making products known, talking about it, giving presentations, educating the world about the rarity so that the prices can go up and that can get justified as well. So we get into that section now. So you said you are connected with 30 countries. Which countries have given you the most positive traction?
So with Osmium, it really depends on what market we're looking at. Germany, for example, tangible asset doesn't work in markets like Korea or Japan, where people are very focused on stocks, cryptos, funds. So there it's more the jewelry side of things. India, definitely covering both of them. Very interesting. I think the main markets still are in Europe because that's where we started. But the international spread over the last couple of years has been incredible. And I have been fortunate enough to travel a lot of those countries for business. So I'm very thankful.
Fantastic. So one visible change or one visible difference that you would notice is, as Indian entrepreneurs, we really need to learn presentation and communication skills to another level, because when you come across an entrepreneur from a developed part of the world, which Germany is and where Scarlett is from, the way they express, the way they explain, the way they are well educated on the subject and domain knowledge is phenomenal. So that is deep study. You create exclusivity, that creates demand, and that definitely creates a short supply, which will make you generate more revenues for the product than anything else that you do. This is where we are looking forward to marching to as entrepreneurs from India. But when you travel so many countries, Scarlett, when you come across entrepreneurs, what is the difference that you have noticed amongst the entrepreneurs in Europe and the entrepreneurs in India, that the last few days that you're in India?
So I have realized that I think India is still looking very much to the Western world and often following trends. So this is something that I have realized over the last couple of days, because a lot of the questions have been, where is it already used in the United States or in Europe? I feel that mindset is a little bit different in Europe, because they are just thinking of something and then they're starting it and not really looking left or right who has already done it prior. In India, I have seen much more of a hustle culture though. So in Europe, everyone's quite laid back, like things are happening, things will happen. We follow very, very rigorous schedules on when we start work, when we end work. And this is something that I've not seen in India. So here, every single person I've met is like, their work is their life, they're focused, they're like locked in. And this is something that I personally also have, but I very, very much miss in Europe. So I think we could actually learn something there.
So we are a country where we have more number of languages in the number of countries in the world, and linguistic capabilities help a lot. Being from Europe, being from Germany, our English is absolutely flawless, and that's where communication becomes smooth and you look out at opportunities on where collaboration can happen and business can expand. Of course, artificial intelligence is changing the scenario. You don't need to know the language, but still, when you communicate on your own, the comfort level is completely different. I'm sure that must be one of your very comfortable points when you're traveling across India, meeting entrepreneurs and conversing with them and presenting to them the product that you're talking about. Has that been a point of comfort to you since you've come into India?
Absolutely. So I can only recommend anyone who wants to go into international business, learn English to an extent where you can have a flawless, very easy, straightforward conversation, just because it will simplify everything. Of course, here in India, it's a native language, so everyone's speaking it very well, which is very good, because if two people meet and English for both of them is second language, sometimes it's not that easy. But overall, English is the language you have to know if you want to go international with your business, and it will keep everything so much easier. I also always make a point in trying to learn just a couple of words from the local language
words, yeah.
Because I feel people love it. So here, unfortunately, I learned quite a few, but then I kept because it's so many different languages, I said Kemcho to the wrong people, and so I've been trying. I learned that Namaste is the safe way to go, which is why I now go with Namaste. But I always make a point out of that. Or for example, I also learned French, and even though my French has declined over the last couple of years, when I go to any French-speaking country and I speak French and I just try, that already opens so many doors, because people will love if you connect with their culture, connect with their language, and you make the effort, the extra mile. And so I can definitely recommend that to anyone. Improve your English and try to make an effort with the local community, with the local culture.
So it's not only the language of English that's important, but it is the language that's important. Wherever you intend to do business, if you know the language of that particular place, probably it creates a lot of comfort. which can open up entrepreneurship or business collaborative opportunities, which can be encashed, and it can be mutually beneficial for you and the other person also. Scarlett, whenever we travel to any country, when we land into that country, like for example, when I land into Germany, my eyes become my learning tool. I start learning from what I'm seeing. The structures, the roads, the traffic, the way people are moving around, the expressions that those people have, the atmosphere, the climate, the way people clothe themselves, the way people are greeting each other or meeting each other. And it is such a lot of education. Like just a couple of months back, I was in Frankfurt, and I loved to see what I saw. It was so well planned, so well structured, so beautiful. What have you seen from the time you have landed in India? What are your observations? Of course, apart from how the culture changes, how the language changes, how the pattern of clothing changes in every state or in every city of the country. What are your close observations?
So it definitely makes a lot of sense if you want to succeed with the local people to adapt to certain matters, but also not overdo it. So that's also something that I have experienced with people coming to Germany, or also partners or colleagues or friends from me traveling abroad, that you overdo it. You want to like adapt the culture to a point where it becomes a little bit uncomfortable for everyone. So you got to find that sweet spot somewhere there. And I have to say, in India, for me, it was rather easy to fall into a pattern. I think that is perceived well, at least I hope so. But it's a very friendly, very open culture. It's a very easy discussion to go into with people. Everyone's genuinely interested what you do, want to know more. And what I love is that so much here is happening over socializing and over food. So it's not just plain business. We walk into the meeting room, we get our glass of water and we walk out, which is how it is in Germany. No, it's about like going out to dinner probably with people, like also conversing with them on a private level, and not just walk in, make your pitch and leave. And that's something that I very much like, but this is something I think would be hard for entrepreneurs from India, for example, traveling to Europe, because they will probably think the people don't like me because they're not asking any personal questions. But no, it's just like a different cultural structure, you know? So you really got to pinpoint there what you want to do.
What was your homework when you were planning to come into India? What did you study about India and you were prepared for when you landed into this country?
So obviously the first point of entry is, of course, the visa. So that was, I have to say, I traveled to like 35 plus countries already. India was quite something, like to fill out all of that visa application.
I'm so happy to know this.
It was, the structure was, it was very meticulous, very well, but it took a while. So of course, like doing the research of what I want to see, so that I don't just come for business, but also like the general approaches on how you conduct business, just a couple of words that you can use. To give you an example, this is not India, but this is another country in Asia, especially in Japan and in China. You hand your business cards with 2 hands.
Yes.
And this is something that is, if you do that, you will immediately receive a response where people are like, oh, okay, she's learned about this, you know? So these are the kind of things you want to look into. So I feel like India, that was not that different in terms of I had an easy time falling into, I think, what's expected. But yes, we'll see what it is with the other countries.
What were your expectations that you set in your mind before coming to India, and how much of those expectations have matched or exceeded?
So personally, I always wanted to travel to India. I have never done it because I said my work's definitely going to bring me here, and then I get to enjoy it on company costs, which of course is nicer. So my personal expectations have been exceeded. I love the country, the food, the people, everything is exceptional. My business expectations, I have to admit, have been rather low. And this is what I said earlier, because I thought India is so traditional, so gold focused, so diamond focused. They're not going to let anything new into the market. So I was like, yeah, you know, like I'll travel, but we'll see what goes. And I already 2 times pushed my travel dates back to Germany because we have more and more appointments lined up. We also have fantastic partners here in Mumbai. It's Paras Shah. We have Kushal Parekh in Surat, who's our country partner. So we have an amazing team. Sheila Sutha, she's produced the first Osmium jewels here in India.
Wow. And which is that one? Is this
that's
the
actually
ring?
This one. Yes, this is
the ring.
Yes. So unfortunately,
so this is the first product produced in India.
First product with Osmium produced here in India, and the beautiful Indian name that I cannot remember right now it's the first seal of India. So the first sigil ring produced here.
Oh wow! Excellent, excellent.
So absolutely beautiful piece. And so we have amazing partners, Devan Shah, who has introduced us here to the diamond industry. So they have prepared this a lot, which really helped me to fall into place and to come here and already have appointments for people who are interested to pitch it too. So that has been exceeded by far because everyone kept recommending more people, which is also something I have experienced here, which I love. You go somewhere, you tell them what you're doing, they love it, and they have 10 more people you should talk to. So this is incredible. So it's been by far exceeded what I expected. Everyone loves it. People are so eager to learn more, especially younger generations are really open for alternatives to look left and right. So yeah, everything so far has been not just good, but even better than I thought it would.
Wow. Scarlett does not only look young, but she's extremely young. Let's dive into her mind now. She's the vice director for Osmium, which is a German company dealing into the rare metal. She then started her own line of products, that's Oslery. So you are a vice director where you're connected and associated with the organization as one of the team members, one of the senior, and I'm sure you're one of the most valuable team members. You're the Osmium for them. After that, you also initiated your own venture under the master umbrella of your organization, and you created Oslery. What's the thought behind it?
So I come from a family where entrepreneurship is not a thing. So my family is like doctors, diplomats, like military attaches. Like this is kind of the family I come from. So and I was always like falling a little bit out of place there because I always knew I want to create something of my own at some point. So it was always clear for me at some point I'm going to found something. But that was even before I met Osmium. I was like, I want to have my own company. And then when I came to Osmium Institute, I was just immediately like intrigued by the idea of being somewhere at the beginning. So, I mean, 2009, I think Bitcoin came out and I like looked into it 2015, which is probably earlier than a lot of other people did, but still like too late to like do what you wanted to do with Bitcoin. And so with Osmium, when I experienced it, I was like, wow, I'm here at the very first moment. Like this could become huge if we put the right effort and mindsets to it. So seeing that grow over the last couple of years has been incredible. And then Oslery was kind of something that just made sense because I wanted to found something for my own. And back then, the focus was so heavy on tangible asset investment. Like it was a very male-dominated field with Osmium just in general as tangibles. And no one really thought of the jewelry applications, the ideas, the possibilities. So I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to found my own company. And that's what I did. So I was 23 when I founded Oslery. And it's been a good success story so far. I'm very happy.
It is 2023 or when you were 23?
I was 23.
Okay. For your information, friends, this is her first commercial stint. For the last 8 years, she is with Osmium Institute. Before that, she was a student. And which year did you start Oslery?
That was 2020.
So she started this almost 5 years back, 5 to 6 years back. What we need to understand is being associated with an entity and then with the support of that same entity and with their own products, putting up your own line of business. That's a brilliant idea which entrepreneurs in India should start looking at or looking into, because leveraging in life gives you a boost of speed to growth. That's a brilliant combination where you're working with an organization and also you have created a venture within that organization. So you get the natural support of the organization. So that's a brilliant mindset. So as an entrepreneur, what is the vision that you have for Oslery?
To grow to the biggest Osmium jewelry platform there is.
Okay.
Actually, this vision I have, I guess, already achieved because it was the very first one, which is great. No, but the idea of Oslery really is giving a platform for all of those people who believe enough in our product to make something out of it. And I feel those people need to be appreciated throughout the globe. So that's one of the reasons why so many people start working with it, because if someone, I don't know, produces something in Japan, someone through our connects in Rio de Janeiro might end up purchasing it and wearing it. We work with brand ambassadors from very famous sports people to dancers at the Rio de Janeiro Carnival, now looking at K-pop stars. So we're trying to give these people a platform. And that, coming back to like a business mindset, is something where I think you always need to show people what is their value in using your product, using your idea. And this shouldn't just be a stupid pitch like this is better because XYZ. Like it should be something heartfelt, something where they can connect to. And a lot of jewelry brands, in our example, they are missing the international exposure. And this is something we can offer them. So find that niche key point that the other person wants and dive right into it. That's what I can.
Fantastic. So how do you
recommend.
create demand? How do you create demand for a product that the world doesn't know? What is the process that you are going to be following or the company is following to create that kind of awareness?
So,
and to the right target audience?
Yes. Let's be honest, most things on this planet are not needed. If it's not food and not a house over your head, like most things are luxury, are not necessarily a necessity. So you want to create the demand, the longing for it. And fortunately, with our product, it's very simple because it's rare, it's beautiful, it's unique. It plays with the idea of FOMO, like, oh my God, if I don't get this now, like I'm probably never gonna get it. Like I wanna have something more than my neighbor has. So with us, we're very fortunate because we didn't really have to look for a USP, it was already there. But if you go into an industry where there's already a lot of different people who are in, you got to create a USP that is intriguing enough for people to look into it. So think of your own personal strength and then focus on a core strength that really sets you apart from all the other ones. And that's where you dive in. That would be my recommendation.
Fantastic. And what is the plan that you do to educate the world about this product so that there is interest in the people? So like suppose if I'm doing Osmium, okay? Suppose if I'm in your shoes, what I would do is I will pick up the best film star or a Hollywood star and create a movie around a heist. And this time they are robbing a bank of Osmium.
Oh, I love the idea. If you have any connects, let me know. Yes, so there's different approaches that we have done over
One
the
of
past.
the approach is always going to be entertainment because that's where a concept gets popular. And when people that you follow, if they look into these kind of aspects, then the want increases. They want it. So
yeah, so I think it, like, funny enough, over the last 8 years that I've done this, I've seen a change in our marketing approaches, which was very needed. So the main shareholders and people who are involved, they're a little bit older than me, and they were very much on print, you know, so they were like still like, we need to go into magazines. And I fought for a couple of years. Now we have a social media manager, and this is a product that goes amazing on socials. It's sparkly, it's shiny, it's rare, you know. So now we see a lot of growth in social media. And what I have experienced over the last couple of years is that I think everyone thinks advertising does not work on me. I am stronger than that. It turns out to be not the case. Most of us aren't. And the best kind of advertising you can make is you use an influential person that another person connects with. So this can be Taylor Swift. This can be someone in India. Priyanka Chopra would be an example that I know here. And people want to copy these people. They want to have a part of their fame, of their luxury. So if they wear it, then the customers will want it. So influencer marketing for sure is something that one should really look into.
Awesome. So life is all about continuity, and you need to continue. You need to keep continuing what you do. For people to understand, she is also an actress. She has acted in her initial days, that were her education days, and I'm sure she continues the skills on camera and off camera whenever she does presentations, and that's why you find her so perfect. So Scarlett, you have been experienced to continuity in shoots, right?
Yes.
Like when in between the shots, when you change the scene and they really want you to continue with the same look on the camera again, so that there is no disconnect when the overall film is being patched together. How do you ensure that kind of continuity in the business that you do with Osmium?
I mean, it's all about setting your mindset to something and not really letting go. So when I focus it on acting, it is even in between breaks, you would try to stay in character, like not, I don't know, open Instagram and scroll through your memes and reels because it's just going to take your mindset off, you know, so stay focused. And I think the same thing you can adapt to entrepreneurship or any sort of business. It's never letting go. So I am a sports addict, and for me, like the only time I pause is when I'm sick. But other than that, I always try to every single day work out, because as soon as you start letting go, we're humans, we're lazy by nature. So, you know, as soon as you start to slack, it's gonna be difficult. Same goes for business. Always keep your mindset at it. Chat with people. One of the first questions that you will always get is, so what is it that you're doing? when you meet a new person.
And I'm sure you're waiting for that question.
Getting their pitch there, like for me, it's always like, oh, I'm doing this, but, always being ready to pitch it, never really fully letting go of it. I'm not sure if it's what a health coach would recommend. But for me, I found that work is always a part of me, even if I'm having a relaxing massage to a certain degree, not too much, but to a certain degree. And that's important.
So that's your continuity in life. All the time,
Yes.
you're talking about work and the company that you represent and the business that you do. So that is the kind of thought continuity that you continue, and you love doing that.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what most of us love to do. We love to work. We love to keep in touch with people, chat with people, learn from people. So it's one good activity every entrepreneur should indulge into. Continuity of thoughts, irrespective of the situation and scenes that's going on. So Osmium is a brilliant company that you have initiated, where you have smartly integrated the precious metal that you're dealing with, and you have added creativity in the form of jewelry, combine the two and getting into the market. How do you decide and define price points for the products that you create? Because there is a cost of the precious metal, and then there is a cost of the creativity, and together you have to come up with a price point which should cover not only the cost of the metal and the material, but it should also cover the cost of your business infrastructure and your profits. So how do you price your products?
So Oslery itself doesn't produce that many products anymore, which is why usually we leave the pricing of end pieces up to the producer themselves, and they have their specific margins. I try not to judge. We don't say anything. They can decide their end pricing. And I've seen everything. I've seen everything from like probably 50% markup in jewelry to 900% markup with watch industries, some Swiss watch brands who have just crazy margins. So whatever you want to cover there, if there's a very easy saying, something is worth as much as the customer is willing to pay for it. Basic rule of economics.
The perception.
The perception.
On what you can make them perceive.
Exactly. So if you have a little bit more margin, but you use this margin to create the need and the desire by using influencers or whatever, like it'll like justify it in the end. I think the most important thing is that you have to keep in mind prices. You can change not necessarily the price for the same product, but if you realize, okay, this product, I priced it too high or too low, you can introduce a new product and adapt there according to the strategy that you're going to. A business plan for sure, of course, always helps. Write down your expenses, write down what you think will happen. Always give yourself a cap, like an addition on top of that, to be sure that you don't run into any like minus there. And then just take it from there and feel your way towards what is the customer willing to pay. And you will find your pricing along the way.
And how do you make your business plan? Because this is a pretty expensive product. The number of products are very less in number. How do you make a business plan in terms of cash flow management, in terms of revenue generations, in terms of target setting, in terms of goal setting? Because without a goal post, you don't know where to kick the ball. So how do you do that? Very true.
So I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not necessarily a numbers person. I do it, of course, like to a certain degree.
With those kind of numbers, you're saying you're not a number person?
I'm more a strategy person. I'm less like focused on the numbers themselves. But thankfully, my ego is not so big that I say I have to do everything myself. And that's probably like whenever people ask me, like, how did you start your company? The biggest tip I can give anyone, like no one knows everything. It's very, very okay to get professional help on certain matters. So I have amazing accounting. I have very good tax advisors. I have people who like also help me like my strategy, transform that into numbers. And this is something where I think it's always worthwhile spending some money on someone whose job is just to do this, because you'll get that money back tenfold, if not more. So that's how I do it. Like I have my strategy in mind. I know how the market moves. I know who is interested in Osmium, because they all, of course, come to us and like express interest. I see which markets are entering. Now, having been here in India this week, these last 9 days are already impacting the strategy that we will have for 2026, because I think this will be one of the main markets. So I like give the general direction, and then I have very, very smart people who help convert that into numbers.
Fantastic. Like they say, you need to have people smarter than you working with you and for you. So that you become successful at the earliest. You are in the product industry. You use osmium, the precious metal, and create jewelry out of it. What is being done more? Do you create the product and then find a buyer, or you also customize it as per the buyer's need?
It's both, but the second one is definitely the more popular one. So it's so rare, it will never be a mass product. So mostly what happens is that we have very high-end designers, luxury brands, or high net worth individuals when it comes to jewelry who say, I want to have something specifically tailored to me, something that expresses me. And so often it starts actually similar to like the very high-end expensive gemstones. You see the stone and you create the jewel around it. Not necessarily you have a jewel and you buy the gemstone for it. And with osmium, it's similar. Like people see it, it gives them ideas. And every designer I've worked with in the past, they say, I have a couple of customers who approach me and say, what's new, what's different? What can you give me that I don't already have? And they have a few customers in mind. They know how they like their designs. They will tailor something for them, showcase it to them. And in most cases, it's a sale.
Can I get an AR made this way?
You can get an AR made that way. I will look into it.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
That would actually be a beautiful reverb pin. I love that. Yeah, I've been already looking at it already. So we can cut exactly these letters in this font. It's not a problem.
And it can be an osmium pin.
Yes, exactly. So basically how it would work, osmium is never just by itself. You set it like a gemstone. So it would be a gold base or a platinum base, whatever base you prefer. And then osmium would be on top of it. Like for example, in this watch.
Oh, fantastic. So uniqueness is something which is very interesting in osmium. And I think in this box, I've seen some QR codes. What does this QR code stand for? What can happen? What happens if I use this QR code? What happens?
Amazing things, of course. Well, it opens the Osmium World database. And basically, as we already covered, every piece of osmium, unique crystal structure, fingerprint, we already had that. So the osmium doesn't need like a lasered code, like for example, it is with diamonds sometimes where you have a code engraved, or with gold where you'll have like a serial number. The surface itself is the certificate, if you will. And we want to make sure that even end customers can authenticate their pieces. So what happens is when you scan the code, we'll put like a layer, like we'll show in a detailed shot later on. But when you scan the code, it'll open the world database and you can open a photo, a high resolution scan produced in Germany of that piece. And if you now take a photo of your own piece with a good camera, or even the best phones can now start to do it, give it 2 or 3 more generations, it's not going to be a problem. You yourself can do the visual comparison of both pictures. And
so do you have a software which does it for us?
So
it's not yet
right
there
now, but
isn't that a good idea?
It's going to be there for sure. So we are already having the first test trials. And if you had asked me 3 years ago, I would have said, oh, this is somewhere further in the future. Now with the rise of AI, even with the free ChatGPT version, sometimes depending on the quality of the photos, you can already get somewhere. So the good thing is every single piece that's out there is already scanned with Kinos microscopes, high-end from Japan, 75,000 euros each. This is how the quality of our scans are. So the preparation work is done. The only thing that needs to adapt is the cameras on the market in phones. High-end cameras are already good enough, but in phones, and give like ChatGPT, OpenAI, or any sort of AI out there 1 or 2 more generations. I'm sure we'll have the possibility to upload a picture and ask, is it this? And they'll say, yes, it's a match, just like we see in fingerprint matches.
Oh, wow, fantastic. So do you have a database of all the pieces that you have sold so that you can track every customer who's a customer?
Exactly. So that's how it works. Every piece is registered to a private individual, which means if I lose this ring here in Mumbai, it would show up somewhere. And either we have a very honest finder who brings it in, which would, of course, would be amazing. But even if that's not the case, someone would try to monetize it, right? So they would bring it to a jeweler, and the jeweler would find out that it's osmium if he does the normal testing on the material. So if he knows it's osmium, he knows it's very valuable. So he will want to sell it at a higher price point. But anyone who comes in and who purchases osmium, they just don't do it without educating themselves. For that, it's too expensive. So if they educate themselves, they know every piece has an OIC. So even if the code is not with this piece, they can send it in and we can check which piece it is. And then, sure enough, we would see if I mark this piece as stolen or lost, it would pop up. So there's only been 2 incidences. You introduced the idea of a heist movie where osmium has been stolen. And one of these incidences is already solved because we could track the osmium that emerged 3 years later. The other one hasn't shown up yet, but still. So osmium actually offers you like kind of an accountability, or it's branded on your name, like it's registered with you, which makes it pretty awesome.
Fantastic. Do you have an ecosystem where all the buyers are on one platform, knowing each other on what they have bought, or whether it can become a marketplace where they can trade off, or they can sell, or they can auction it to somebody else who's wanting to buy an osmium, and the rarity can get them a better price so that demand can increase, they can create valuation, they can earn profits. Has the company thought on those lines yet?
So we have that with our partner network base, of course, that people are just like communicating there, telling this works well, this is something that I've experienced, like this is what we should probably do. And we have that now. This is the newest thing of Oslery. We're creating a platform where all the people who have created osmium jewels will be able to showcase them, like an online gallery, an Amazon for osmium jewelry, if you will. Not with the idea to make profit behind it. So it's a 25% margin that we take if something is sold, which is very, very low in jewelry. It's literally meant as a platform to showcase and to educate people. This is already possible. These are pieces from Brazil, Japan, China, Italy, whatever. When it comes to the investment side of things, not as much, because most of those investors choose to remain like
anonymous.
Anonymous, yes. So
it can be by choice.
It can be by choice. So what we're thinking of right now is probably there is already an Osmium app that people can use. There's an Osmium partner app and an Osmium app where people can already exchange a little bit, where we post news about what's happening in the industry. So people can go in there, but the myth of osmium and the secretive approach of I'm investing into something and putting it in my locker, those people usually remain more behind curtains, if you will.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. But that's happening. That's happening because
it's happening.
A lot of premium products, the Ferrari Club, the Maybach Club, the Rolls-Royce Club, the Rolex Club, the Patek Philippe Club. There are people who keep exchanging information and what's happening, what's the latest trend, who's owning what. That's again a cult and a culture which is taking place. So Osmium is already doing that.
Yes, it's especially doing that in the use of end products. So jewels, sunglasses, sculptures, paintings, like wherever osmium is used, these people are already connecting and building a community, which we try to like further and like water. And we'll see how it takes over with the investment side of things. Probably now with younger generations who are more used to being in the spotlight, they share their lives, they share their socials. It's going to become more of a thing. But right now, the main focus of the community is with the pieces where osmium has been implemented.
And how do you introduce new designs to your existing customer base? Do you email it to them? Do you WhatsApp it to them? Or is there a platform where they get this information and they always keep looking out for newer information coming up?
So right now, it's mainly our socials that we're doing this through. So we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. And we also work with a lot of magazines, TV commercials, TV documentaries. The good thing is this is so interesting. Everyone usually wants to cover it. And this is where we also place the jewels of the partners who are using it. So it can be that, as I said, you produce something in Brazil and suddenly it will be in a Japanese TV commercial somewhere. So things like this can happen. This is what we do. But now with Oslery, the approach is actually to have such a platform available for everyone who wants to promote their osmium jewelry pieces. So it's currently still building up, but you can already check it. It's oslery.com. Just to get an idea of some of the designs that are already out there.
Wow, fantastic. So this QR code, what business you do is immaterial. How you do your business is what matters the most. The QR code, just a few days back, I was visiting a exhibition, a painting exhibition. It was a Russian exhibition here in Mumbai at NGMA. It's one of the government bodies for displaying art. The art was phenomenal. The best part about that exhibition was, apart from the phenomenal art and the artist, it's a Russian artist, Nikhav is the name of the artist. Nikas or Nikhav is the name of the artist.
Heard that, yes.
He's the #1 artist of Russia. And what he did is something mind-blowing. With every painting, there was a QR code. And when you click on the QR code, the whole painting comes to life and there is an animation with that painting. Now, that was such a thrilling experience that suddenly you start feeling that you need to own that piece of art. So it's all about what you create, which has to be unique. There is no compromise on that part. But if that uniqueness can be added with the help of technology and create an experience further beyond the art that has been created, then the feeling of ownership multiplies, that you want to own it so that you can, enjoy the creativity which is having continuity. Absolutely. It's not only the painting, but the animation that the artist has created along with that painting. Like suppose if it is an elephant sitting, you click the QR code and that elephant is running and flying and diving and stuff like that. So it's a thrill, and the quality of the original art continues without being diluted. So it was my first experience and it was mind blowing. And this is what I'm seeing here with your creativity. It's with your products that you have created a QR code to authenticate the genuineness of that particular piece of jewelry.
Yeah, I think it's not always about creating something completely new, but about taking something that is already existing. In this case, jewelry. In this case, you mentioned art, something that has been there for years. It's already an established, trustworthy business, if you will, but you elevate it and put it on the next level and you adapt to younger generations. And younger generation, for them, it's all about something on a screen. And like, I see something moving and I can probably have it somehow tied to a database, to security, cyberspace. And I think there, this is your approach to it, it's incredible. Like virtual reality experiences that go beyond the physical. That's always a good approach that you can have for sure.
In fact, don't you think we can tie two things together? A very expensive painting, to authenticate its originality, can have a piece of osmium, which can ensure that this is the original painting, because originality of something which is very expensive is definitely becoming a challenge, and counterfeiting happens so easily and so comfortably. So to understand the originality of a painting, I think an osmium piece can be connected with a very expensive painting, and that by itself can become a unit.
Yes, it's a perfect idea. Like we have certain steps made into this direction already. So people use it not just for the beauty and the rarity, but for the authentication process. And the step towards high-end paintings or high-end art sculptures, to authenticate it, to make sure this is the real one. And even your end customer will be able to tell it is from this artist and it's not like a print or anything else. This is something I think will be a great market for the future of this product, because
it works like a blockchain.
It works like a blockchain, like a physical one.
Oh, wow, fantastic. But you need to make sure that you also authenticate the painting and the osmium. Otherwise, it should not happen that somebody has bought the original osmium and the painting is a counterfeit.
So that's exactly what we do. So we create something called an X code. So for example, this jewelry piece here, it has 10 single individual type pieces in it, and it creates an X code, a superior code certifying the entire piece of jewelry. So if you give this X, this is just 10 pieces, but imagine we have a collier of 100 or even more pieces. You don't want to give the customer a list of codes, right? You want to give them one code. So you give them one code. All the single items are listed in it, and there's a photo of the jewelry piece, the price of the jewelry piece if you want, and some details around it. So if you now were to implement a piece of osmium into, say, a painting, you could create such an X code, and forever, unless the owner of the piece wants it to be delinked again, this painting will be linked to this osmium piece, and it's certified within a German database. So that's what we do, and that's the approach behind it.
Wow, fantastic. So Scarlett, 8 years into this activity, 5 to 6 years in entrepreneurship, what's the way forward for you? How do you do goal setting of you as an individual entrepreneur? What is your goal setting for the next 3 months, 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years? How do you plan it?
I have to say, with osmium, planning it is always a little bit difficult because, of course, I can plan a certain roadmap. But if we look at nowadays landscape for businesses or for any sort of products, things can trend overnight. And if something trends overnight, everyone wants it. And with osmium, this could mean that hypothetically, we launch one viral video, we put it on one specific person, and then suddenly it's sold out a week later. And this sometimes makes planning a little bit difficult in terms of long term. But then again, this would also be a good scenario, right? So overall, my plan is over the next 5 years to increase awareness internationally still. I think it will be much faster than that, especially now we're talking to a few of the really high-end luxury brands. So the ultimate goal with osmium would be to position it with one of those big brands who then do the marketing for you, of course, and it will create the certain need. Of course, to work with a few brand ambassadors. Now, one of my personal goals for osmium has also become creating a heist movie around it. So that's definitely now on the list. And I think we'll just take it from there and see it grow organically. And for me personally, osmium right now is my baby, my focus. I think I'll only start looking at something new once I know that this is out there and can survive without me and with the passion behind it. And we'll see what happens in the future. But right now, this is my focus and this is well ahead.
So there is a health band which calculates your blood pressure, your steps, your routine, your sleep time, your sleep cycle and stuff like that. The company very smartly got integrated with a very big footballer in the world. And when he started wearing it, there was a rage. And a lot of people across the world started wearing that unit. With Osmium, I'm sure you're doing that at a scale. I'm sure about that. But there are global designers who are very famous and who have got a very rich clientele. Like, for example, I love watching movies and I follow particular directors. I don't follow the actors, I follow the director. So whatever that director produces or directs, I make sure that I see that content. Similarly, there are designers, and these designers are such designers that they do very less work, so they are more valuable. And whenever the designer makes something, he has got a fixed list of clientele who will just buy whatever they make.
No matter what.
No matter what. Do you have such designers on board for this business model of yours?
We're starting to get into that realm of people, yes. So the people who we're working with, they certainly have the sort of clientele who's interested in purchasing this. I think the really big breakthrough we're still missing. So in Europe, the example is always if Princess Kate wears something from the royals, like it's sold out the next day. Or imagine Taylor Swift would have gotten engaged with an Osmium ring. She didn't. I'm very pissed at her. She had one job, but we'll find an alternative. So these kind of things will really push it internationally. And with designers, we're now getting into realms. We're now working with people in the industry who are very, very well regarded, and they have a lot of respect. And they are now speaking about Osmium, for Osmium, talking about implementing it. And this is definitely giving us a huge international backing. And it introduces more and more people to us because people think, okay, if this person talks about it, it's legit.
So 10 years back, I started a project. It was a villa development project.
Mm-hmm.
And what I smartly did with that was I brought the best names in the industry together and I created an outstanding product. Like, for example, the person who designed the development, it was a villa development, was Suzanne Khan. She's one of the best interior designer in the country, one of the best. So she designed it. Then I brought every material that I used in it was top class. Like the glass was Saint Gobain, the trippers were Siemens, the paint was Jotun paints, the shingles were American shingles, the wires were Polycab, the tiles were a big brand again, all the fittings were Kohler. So what I did was I brought in multiple outstanding brands together and I created a product and I named it the White Villas.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
so does Osmium do something like that, where you integrate yourself with a big brand? So like, for example, the next Rolls-Royce might have the symbol of Rolls-Royce, the R, with Osmium.
I love that you're saying it because it's literally like a goal of mine, because a Royce they always have this dashboard which is unique in every one of them.
Absolutely.
Right? So like that would be my ultimate goal. If we get that done, like I'm happy. I can die in peace.
So are you going to promise on this camera that you will give due credits to whatever ideas you're going to be implementing, including the movie of Heist?
I will give those credits, yes. So if you see a Hollywood or a Bollywood movie with a heist surrounding Osmium, I will give the credits. And if we go to Rolls-Royce, I'll make sure that we also mention that. Yes.
Fantastic. I think you have done some good idea with the metal, the precious metal, with one of the items. It's related to the golf. If you can explain that.
Yes. So, of course, golf is a customer or a client base which is usually very wealthy. They like to show a certain amount of wealth as well. They feel very comfortable with having higher valued products with them. And there is a golf marker with Osmium. Basically what it is, it's a piece about this size. I think we have it in here. So the size here in the middle, it's about this size. And when you golf and you are putting at the end, and your ball is in the way of someone else's ball, you will put your golf marker down.
Okay.
And we have a golf marker that is produced in Germany by someone. And this golf marker has stainless steel, so you can clip it with a magnet on your cap, but you also have an Osmium inlay inside of it. So you place it on the green right at the end of the putting, and I can assure you no one's going to look at the putt anymore because everyone's staring at the Osmium. So it's a very easy way of also to start talking about what it is you're doing. What I especially like about this product, again, genius mindset. I would not have come up with it. This was the producer. She's using this very specific glue. In German, it's Fischleim. It would translate to fish glue. I'm not sure if that's actually the case. It's a very specific glue which dissolves if it's heated up. So what happens if you have your investment piece, you have your luxury item. You want to have your just investment piece again or transform it into some other jewelry, throw it into boiling water. You boil it for about 1 or 2 minutes. The glue is dissolving. wait until the water has cooled down, disclaimer, and then take it out and you have your investment piece again. So there's a lot of cool approaches here that people are thinking of. And I personally love the golf market. It's an exceptional example.
Wow. And how much would the golf market cost?
It's around 5,000 to 6,000 euros.
Oh, wow. So that's fantastic. So these are all smart ideas. So what we have understood during this conversation, during this inspiring conversation is how you can absolutely position yourself as an entrepreneur, as a product designer, as a product itself, and how you can create new use cases which can add to your perceived value, your ego, your status, and make you look different. And that's what people are living for. They want to be a differentiator. They don't want to be common. They want to be like a fingerprint. They would like to become like an Osmium.
I love that.
Osmium, right?
Yes, absolutely true. It's like nowadays, I think everyone is like online. Everyone is like trying to say, this is what makes me different from the mass. And catering to that like need in humanity, like to that desire, is something that will give you an edge with your product.
So friends, life is a wonderful journey, and when you live as an entrepreneur, it's all very interesting and very exciting, and every person that you come across to teaches you something or the other. This precious material, I didn't know that there are 8 types of rare earth metals. So this is the 8th one. It was absolutely insightful. I'm sure you have also understood this metal for the first time, this precious metal for the first time. Thanks to Scarlett, who was phenomenal. When she speaks, it sounds as if she invented it 200 years back and she's born again to sell it. So that's the confidence and the knowledge and the presentation skills that she has about her business, about the product, and about the company that she represents. As entrepreneurs, this is the level of excellence that all of us need to achieve. I'm sure you and me are in that journey. I'm sure she's also traveling the same journey. And it is so nice to understand different mindsets from different parts of the world on how they look at market, how they look at demand, how they look at supply, how they look at creating products which can get a lot of attention to them and their business model as well. I hope you have enjoyed this session. If you have, do post your comments below. Do ask a lot of questions to Scarlett. Do ask a lot of questions to me as well. I will make her answer them as well. And let's interact and let's enjoy this journey of inspiring conversations. Before we part, I would like to ask Scarlett to give a parting shot to what she would like to pass on as a message to all the fellow Indian entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurs across the world.
Thank you so much, Agnelo, for everything, for having us here, for giving this wonderful interview and all of your beautiful questions. My parting gift, well, I think the most important thing I literally can recommend to anyone is what I said earlier. It's totally okay to not know everything. Just make sure you find the right people to work with you. And if you find the right people, keep them close, because it's not easy to find those specific persons who will actually like really try to help you. But if you do, hold on to them, never let them go. And I think that's the best tip I can give. I wish everyone out there all the success in the world. If I can help with anything, let me know. I'm here to answer questions about entrepreneurship, Osmium, my personal experiences to India or Europe. So whatever it is, I'm here. Thank you so much and namaste.
And before she leaves India, I'm going to make sure that she has a meal at Sante Spa Cuisine.
Yes.
And if she likes it, she's going to give a 5 minutes video testimonial. That's what she is going to do. She's also going to be wearing Osmium along with Bod Active, which is my gym wear. I'll make sure of that. And I'm also making sure that she's going to be experiencing Sugandh Lok, the fragrances that we create. I'm short on supply. I'll be getting the supply tomorrow. I'm going to hand over a box to her. And she's also going to give us the feedback on beautiful fragrances that India produces here. And she takes those fragrances back with her, not only to the office in the Osmium office in Germany, but also to our house in Berlin.
Exactly. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Who asked? You? You asked me if this is honestly healthy? Come on, yeah. Whole wheat spaghetti in pesto sauce. And this is my pick for this festive season. Try it. Honestly healthy. And I'm honest.
I work with and for Konark Cancer Foundation. It's a foundation which takes care of cancer patients. If you know anyone suffering with cancer, then we at Konark Cancer Foundation can connect the person with the right resources and facilities to ensure that the right time, right treatment reaches the patient. Whether it is connecting the resources or providing resources to the cancer patient, we do it all. It also includes support for accommodation in the city of Mumbai. We are associated and connected and networked with the right resources, the right doctors, and the right hospitals. We can bring all of this on a table to you so that it is convenience for you. Whether it is guidance, whether it is medical support, or whether it is operating procedures, our team facilitates every activity required for the patient and the support required for the family. We also connect you to the right NGOs and donors to ensure that you also get financial support and aid to whatever extent possible to ensure that the treatment happens and the life is saved. If you know of anyone who is suffering with cancer, please connect with us. The details are mentioned in the content below. Konark Cancer Foundation is an NGO. It's a not-for-profit organization, and we have lots of volunteers which support this good deed. So get in touch with us and help us to save lives. You too can be a part of this movement. Konark Cancer Foundation. Thank you so much.